23 years ago, the world was changed. And the first game in what would eventually become a borderline obsession for two utter crazies was released upon the world. That game was Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo 64. And it's time to talk about the past on Super Cast Brothers. Hey there, everyone. Zantok here. We got Jonno as well. So yeah, it's been 23 years since Smash 64 released in Japan. Give it a couple months and it'll be the same statement in America as well. But the first day of release is what really matters here. And eventually, you know, we got through Melee, Brawl, Wii U / 3DS, which is still odd to me. And now Ultimate, and holy shit, it's been some time, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided...
The world certainly changed. Sorry.
Yes. So we decided that's for the 64th episode of Super Cast Brothers. That's the other show. For the 64th episode of Super Cast Brothers, we were just like, why not talk about the original Smash Brothers? And the funny thing is, up until a week ago, we had different plans for this episode until we realized, wait, shit, this is episode 64? What are we doing? We gotta change gears rapidly. And we did! So, we're here now. Yep. But before we can really go too deep on the subject, hey, how's it going? What's up? How's life been since our last on topic episode?
How's life? How's life? Well, first of all, yeah, what a switch. I think it might have even been less than a week ago where we decided, hey, we're gonna change things up. But you know, given it's an easy topic for both of us, it's Smash. I know you did your research and got to play in a little bit. And as for me, it was injected into my DNA from the beginning. So I remember, and we'll get into this more, but I remember Smash 64 being like one of the last games of the Blockbuster era that I ever got. It being getting it as a rental because, you know, my parents were like, what the hell is this with Mario and then the Elf Man and the Fox Man and the Rat?
You mean Mario, Zelda, and Metroid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Why can't Metroid,
you know, that
crawl?
character that can copy people's ability.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. It's a pink puffball.
Yeah. Yep. It has a song, too. Okay, so, and that became an obsession for me from day one because we loved the game on rental service, and then I think just returned it the next day and just bought it because it's like, holy cow. More on that in a few. No, we also had like the official artwork for Smash Brothers, the character art from that first game. I remember, I mean, this dates us both, but if you recall, it was fairly popular when I was a little kid anyway, where we would get like our moms or whoever to iron on designs onto blank t-shirts. Yeah. So she would do that for me with the Smash Brothers art.
Nice.
Nice. And they would be like, whoa, what is that? You know, where did you get that? And I was like, well, we made it at home. And they'd be like, what? You can stitch. Anyway, life is fine. You know, having a nice, quiet start to the year, I think, is pretty much the only thing that a lot of us could ask for.
Yeah.
Given the last couple. So, that's what it was. I think when we had... No, I recall when we had New Year's Day, I stayed up until midnight, even though it's totally arbitrary because I know all the hillbillies in my neighborhood out here in the rural outskirts of Tucson were going to be up with their rifles and illegal fireworks anyway. So it's just about. So I stepped outside, watched that for a sec. It was raining, enjoyed the rain. Came back in and like ironed clothes and stared into space, and then just went back to bed.
Okay.
It was a choice. And so, I mean, it's a day. I mean, 11:59 turns to 12. Not a whole lot changes, but I am being more conscionable with some tasks that I want to pursue this year. I'm doing my post-it note mason jar filled with 1 thing that I'm grateful with for each day of the year.
Oh wow!
I'm
How many of those
yeah,
are me?
probably a couple so
Yeah, that's fair.
far. And then I'm also doing a Smashtopia submission on our Smashtopia wiki. Not necessarily every day, but representative of every day of the year. I tend to do them in batches towards like a weekend after I'm done with my day job and just like
Fair.
grind.
You spend the week
So I
thinking
mean,
about them, and then you spend your weekend writing them.
exactly, exactly. So, you know, for the month of January, for instance, imagine that there will be 31 submissions on Smashtopia representing January. Also, Super Cast Brothers submissions will not count towards this goal. I'll
Nice.
feed them into a total so that way we can say, oh, I did, you know, if I do, however, say we did 30 things on Smashtopia in a year. Oh, or episodes rather, Supercast, but this is like, oh, we got 395 submissions I did this year, but 365 of them I want to make sure minimally, at minimum, I mean, are my own for the wiki, independent of Supercast Brothers. So that's been the mission that I have been bearing, and I think it's a nice step. I want to get back into the creative side of my writing, the more fiction informed. So this is a good first step. You definitely have to be creative and have some elbow grease
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of these things. Some of them are just imports from the game. You know, like
Yeah.
big blue blurb from Yoshi's
Any
Story. What does it do?
enemy
You know?
submissions more often than not. A lot of times, sometimes items too, but enemy submissions are pretty much just like copy,
Yeah,
paste.
exactly. But you will see, I mean, like, you check out my submissions for, like, Froggy Chair or a Pikmin Assist trophy that I put out, etc. And you have to be more creative. So
Yeah.
it's been
I've
fun.
also been giving you some requests of my own, just to see like
Yeah.
what you can do with things like the Pikmin Assist Trophy was the one that I so it's like do it as Pikmin Assist Trophy, just like I don't know what it looked like, but it's just like Pikmin, have at it. And
Yep.
it's like I've been mainly giving you things basically like franchises that I know you either know or that shouldn't be too hard to look into things for, like Pikmin. You're not like a Pikmin expert. I don't know if you've even played the games, but it's not that hard to come up with a history for the Pikmin themselves. That's really easy to
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely.
But like, there's been a few where I've been like an upcoming one. I gave you something F-Zero. I don't care what, anything. It can be a character, a stage item, a boss. Don't know how, but I threw it out there. It's like wild card, go for it. And then I was just like, you should also do I can't remember one of the other ones I gave you right now. Oh, Orochi, a spirit battle for Orochi from Okami. I was just like, this is like I could have done boss, and you could have easily done something for that. But I was just like, I don't know. Spirits are more interesting to me than bosses because it's like event matches. Event matches are just cool little scenarios, and spirits are just the evolution of that. So I like them. Boss fights, they're not as fun to create in terms of Smash reality for me personally. But so I was like, give me an Orochi spirit. How are you going to represent that? Show me.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
and as
many
far
more
as
for me throughout the year.
Go, absolutely, and there'll be many more from me on top of that throughout the year. This is my opportunity to update the website with the wiki rather with I don't know 20 more UPA submissions and like maybe like 5 more Rugrats ones and Chucky Finster. Maybe we'll finally get him a character. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, considering you're going to be doing 365... Wait, is this leap year? I don't even know. 365-ish submissions throughout this entire year, which will bring the wiki to over 1,000 pages. By the way, we will be hitting that number if you keep this up all year round. No pressure. But it's like I would not be surprised. Like it's like, hey, I need to do some quick and dirty shit. Here's like 20 different enemies from Bokute Upa. Done. Good. I have a buffer now. It's like, fair enough. Spirit battles can be like that as well. Spirit battles are super easy to push out there.
Absolutely. I've had fun with it, and most of them are, you know, like the lower rung, easier to write things, the items, assist trophies,
Yeah.
spirit, enemies are great buffers. And yeah, like for example, I did like 5 Murasame Castle enemies in a row, which also feature on my Murasame Castle stage.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So and that was easy peasy, and just we'll see, but it'll be fun to see where it goes. I'm glad that you're partaking with the request because this is also an opportunity to make sure that something you tell me to do actually gets done. Um, and we're looking forward to it.
I bet you are.
But beside all the asides, how about you? What's going on your end?
So, I mean, life-wise, not much has happened. Obviously, I moved a while back. I've been putting up some more stuff here behind me for display stuff. Like, we got Mighty Pegasus in his Smash poster. I've got prominently displayed here. I've got a Final Fantasy VII poster, Spyro the Dragon, more from Mighty Pegasus, Mewtwo dressed up as M. Bison from Street Fighter, which is fucking awesome. I got a little Thwomp plushie, along with some other plushies on my game shelf here. You know, Cubone, Waluigi, Chain Chomp, Bob-omb, Inkling, Spy Fox. I've got a painting of Baby Mario and Yoshi that a friend of mine did back in high school. Good shit. And I've got more that I'm planning on putting up. It's just some... When I get more stuff, I might have to rearrange some things, so I don't know how that's all going to go down. But, you know, life is settling down now after the move, because the moving is stressful as fuck. You know how bad it can be. Right now, my only worries are, oh shit, am I going to have money? It's like, give me a couple months of pay, and I'm going to be in a good spot again. But I'm still in the... It's been a while since I've been this low on money situation, so I got a little bit of stress there. Especially when, for paying, for doing our monthly payments, when we were doing the rental, my brother and I, we had it set up so that, okay, it's like, okay, I do this percent, he does that percent, just take out whatever it is from our bank account each month. But apparently for owning a house, you can't do that. It has to all be from one account, the whole payment, and it's like, oh, dear, ouch, ow, that hurts, fuck me. So I was like, okay, hey, brother, can you just send me a check, I guess, so I can put it into my account each month of his payment-wise? And so he has his bank, they mailed me a check. It's like, I don't know why it couldn't just be a digital transfer, but what the fuck ever.
I was gonna say, yeah, like...
yeah.
Okay.
But they mailed the check to me, even though we lived together. And so I tried to digitally put it into my bank using the app that we have, and it was rejected. I was like, what? What the fuck do you mean it was rejected? And it didn't say a reason, and my bank is annoying in that it is a small town bank. It's not a chain or anything like that, and it's 2 hours away. And for several different things, I've tried to use them for things. They tell me, oh, you have to be in person to do that. I'm just like, I'm 2 hours away. Go fuck yourself. Not dealing with this bullshit. At some point, I'm going to be closing that account, or I don't know if I'll close it. I'll just like empty it out, and I'll keep everything transferred off of it. But I can't deal with that bullshit. I am 2 hours away. I'm not going to drive to you for every little thing. That's going to be 4 hours out of my life for bullshit. No, thank you. Also, I don't have a car. Cars are expensive. Fuck that shit. I don't ever go anywhere. People are always just like, what do you mean you don't have a car or you don't drive? It's like, I don't leave the house. Why would I want a car? It would sit unused 99% of the year. And no.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a multi-pronged thing, too. I mean, most of the world's cultures, besides America, don't focus on cars and car living nearly as much as we do. You need to get around somewhere, call Uber, call Lyft, take a bus, take a train, walk.
And it's not, whatever. Uber's not that expensive. It's really not. Like, if I had to do it a lot, then it would add up. But as rare as it is for me to leave the house, and usually when I do leave the house, like, I live with Twilix. So we tend to just go together. If we're going to the store, if we're going to the movie, we just go together. So the amount of times when I'm going somewhere alone, Uber, come on. Now that said,
yeah, I mean,
my DoorDash account has a lot of use. Arguably, too much. What can I say? But I mean, outside of that, things are pretty good. You mentioned some Smashtopia stuff. It's January, so that means I created anybody has gone to the Smashtopia wiki that we have. You see in the front page there's that roster image that shows every character that's on the wiki. Well, it technically doesn't show every character because I only update it once a year. Because if I updated it every time there's a new character put on the wiki, I would stop doing it. But I update it at the end of the year every year. Sometimes we have a new version of it, which I'm showing off right here now. Look at that! Look at all those characters from Mario to Steven Universe. Not all the veterans of Smash are on the wiki yet. Eventually, they will be, but in time.
You could talk with your buddy Jonno about filling up the site with a few of them this year.
Yeah. We've only actually had, I think, 3 characters. Yeah, only 2 or... There's been 3 characters put on the wiki so far this year that aren't on this whole image, and that's Ninja Breadman that we did a Smashtopia episode about. Recently, Jonno over here uploaded Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil, so that's great.
Out of the ether.
Yeah. And then Kelly Jelly recently uploaded another Capcom zombie game protagonist. I was like, all right. So Frank West is there now too. I don't know what zombie protagonist is from Capcom left that I can throw up there for me.
Arthur.
But it's not like focused on zombies. It'd be there's really only those 2 that are zombie focused. But I guess you could say Arthur. You could also say
Jill.
Morgan.
Yep.
Well, I mean something that's not Resident Evil or Dead Rising.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does make it difficult, yes.
There's
that zombie character from Darkstalkers, isn't there?
Yeah, Lord Raptor, which seems like he would actually be kind of fun. Like I could be convinced to make a moveset for him someday.
Nice. Very nice. Before we move on, what bets were you pitching to believe that Leon Kennedy would be my first character submission of the year?
I would never have bet on Leon Kennedy. I would have bet on something weird. Like Elf Bowling Elf.
Yep. Yeah, it's oddly straight shooting for me, and it's also just like not a series that's a series I know and like, but it's not like top rung.
Right.
It's not something we talk about all the time.
Well, you do have a penchant oftentimes for doing some weird stuff, like the Diver from Endless Ocean.
Yep.
You made a move for that. I was like, what? What?
Polar Bear, yep, and several others, but we'll get there. Oh, we're gonna get there this year. But in the meantime, enjoy Leon and Frank West, I guess. And
yes.
Ninja Breadman, maybe even Ninja Bread Master. My fan fiction Ninja Breadman character.
It's possible.
Should I write Ninja Breadman fan fiction and post it on the internet?
Project Believe.
Oh, God.
You can't do Ninja Breadman in Project Believe because it's copyright. But also, I think that company is dead. But you could do a Ninja Breadman in Project
Okay,
Believe.
Benny, wipe the tapes. We're gonna save this for later.
You heard him.
Yep, there you go.
Well, we'll make sure that
Benny's
edit that out.
guy. Yep.
But yeah,
Thank
things
you,
have been pretty
Benny.
good. I'm looking forward to Legends Arceus, which I think this is uploaded the day after Legends Arceus comes out. I think.
Yeah.
So, by this point in reality, I'll be doing nothing but playing that game. I am looking forward to it as hell. Yes, I have been looking at the leaks.
Be very happy to play that. Mm-hmm.
It looks good.
I'll be very happy to play that game, and in the meantime, I'm also playing a game that you don't give a shit about, but I'm very entertained so far. Yeah, BanjoKazooie.
Oh, okay. I actually recently finished the first Greatest Attorney game.
Sweet.
And no spoilers, but I do have to say, honestly, it's a mid-tier to bottom-tier Phoenix Wright for me. Like, in saying that, you know, it's still good, but in the Phoenix Wright series as a whole, it's not one of the higher ones up for me, which is, I think, a big shame. I've been told by Kelly that the second game is a lot better, and like I kind of told Kelly like all my gripes about the first game, and his response basically was like, "Yeah, they pretty much do better on all the things that you didn't like." It's like that's good. I think that's great to hear. Like all my complaints are improved upon. Yes, thank you. So eventually I'll get to playing that game. I'm hoping to at least do one of the cases before Arceus releases. I'm not going to be able to finish the whole game before. I mean, I thought I probably could, but Phoenix Wright games, I got to be like into it to play it at the time.
Yeah, visual novels in general, it's a certain vibe that I don't get all the time. But when I do, Phoenix Wright is a good to scratch.
Easily.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Wow.
23 years ago, the world was changed. Now, Jonno, when it comes to Smash 64, I played it a little bit when it was out. But only a very small amount. I never owned a Nintendo 64. My first console was a PlayStation 1, and then I got a GameCube after that. Funnily enough, I got the GameCube because of Melee. I went to, I spent the night at a friend's house, and he had Melee, and I was just like, oh my god, this was amazing. And then I got a GameCube not long after that with Melee.
Yeah.
But, I only played a little bit of 64. Like, I played the demo kiosk at Toys R Us. And then there was an after-school program that I went to. I don't remember much about it, because this was obviously years ago. I was 8 years old when this game released. And they had it there, and I played a little bit of it then. But not... My memories of it are minimal. I remember Jigglypuff and being confused why Jigglypuff was in the game. But other than that, I don't know a lot. I recently played it, like, the last couple of days. I got an emulator for it, so I was playing it. So I could, like, kind of get some experience in it. But what about you? Like, you were there back in the day.
Yeah.
What was young Jonno exposed to Smash for the first time? Tell me about that.
Okay. Had a little bit of that as a Turkish story earlier. Young Jonno was, what was it? It was March 1990. What 9? Okay.
April I think was when it came out in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So April. Okay. Sweet. So you were 8 years old.
You were like 6?
I think I was newly 6. Like a month after Smash released, I turned 6 years old. So, yeah. So, yeah, and the Nintendo 64 was my first console that was my own. My sister had a Super Nintendo, Game Boy, whatever.
Yeah.
But Nintendo 64 was my first.
Yeah. I had a Game Boy Color first before the PlayStation, but as far as like consoles were concerned, nothing until then. And we didn't even have a memory card because that was unheard of at the time.
Right. Yeah, and thinking about like we had the discussion too, like back when I was maybe 6 or 7, like, oh, what's a memory card for? What's the difference between a memory card and a rumble pack? Like, yeah. Or
I feel like it's in the name.
Expansion pack.
Okay, expansion pack, that's fair. What the fuck is it? Like, nobody knows what the expansion pack is.
We thought it was so necessary, and I remember having one, and then I don't think I had any game that actually used it, so then
Wasn't it just BanjoKazooie and Donkey Kong 64? Weren't those the only 2 games that actually used it?
I think Majora's Mask may have.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to look into it because I knew it wasn't much.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I remember making a big stink about it, reading about it in Nintendo Power and all sorts of junk, and then just having it.
There were 4 games that required the expansion pack. Donkey Kong 6, actually technically 3. Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark, and then Dinosaur Planet would have used it if it wasn't canceled. And if you have like a leaked copy of it, you do still need to use it. But then there were several other games that were improved if you had the expansion pack, but they weren't required for it. Like if you use it on Pokemon Stadium 2, they will increase the game's resolution to 640 by 480.
Okay. Interesting. Which wouldn't have mattered because I played every Nintendo 64 game I owned on a TV roughly the size of my laptop, which was like 17 inches.
Yeah.
With a built-in VCR and CRTV lines. And again, I used to record my gameplay as like the world's first Let's Play. I wish I could find those VCRs.
It's a damn shame that you can't find that footage.
Yeah, find it, overlay commentary on it 20-something years later. Holy cow.
Hell yeah.
That would be gold. That would be... One of these days,
I would be like, hey, Way Out Trail, we're uploading a guest Let's Play to the channel here. I don't care if you don't like it. Go fuck yourself.
Said it wouldn't be the first time I fucked myself. Anyway. Hey, Mike. So, Super Cast Brothers and stuff. Yeah, again, back in the 90s and 80s and 2000s, you know, basically any time that isn't now or into the mid 2000s was really where rentals started to die in the gaming industry, the media industry. Yeah, Netflix came in, and they just started with DVDs themselves, and then but then they exploded. GameFly's still around, thankfully, and their sales are awesome.
I used to rent games from GameFly, but I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, the mail-in thing is even an archaic structure now, even though.
But to be fair, what else can they do? You can't rent a download code for a game.
Hey, you want me to rent a download code from you guys? Thanks, sucker. But yeah, we every week, and this is probably for a lot of 90s kids, sounds familiar, we would go to the Blockbuster, which was about a mile away from my house, by the grocery store they would always shop at, so that way, you know, my parents could strategically map out the day. They're like, we're not going to take this fucking 6-year-old to Blockbuster for a video game without picking up our bread.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Pizza and shit. Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, I remember renting a lot of Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance and GameCube games back in the early 2000s, late 90s. And that was a great opportunity to try some stuff and make sure that you liked it before you bought it. Saved us from buying things like that Godzilla game on the GameCube. But I still somehow ended up with March of the Minis, the M&M's game on Game Boy Color.
I had that too. Well, I think Trilix is the one that had it, but yeah.
Sweet. I also played Donkey Kong Country for the first time on Game Boy Color. That was weird.
They weren't great on Game Boy.
No, not really.
When this is over, there's a Donkey Kong Country Let's Play I'm going to show you. It is an art piece. Holy shit.
Looking forward to it. But yeah, we rented Super Smash 64. Didn't really know a whole lot about it besides Mario being on the cover. I mean, again, I was 6. And I think it could have been the second game like I literally ever played on my own. Super Mario 64 being the first. Oh, and then there was this weird game where you ran around a 3D maze and there was like cubes falling from the sky that could kill you, and it scared me because the game over screen was a gravestone. that was like, "You are dead," which it sucks, but so that game came with my 64 from Best Buy, but so it was the third game I ever played.
Tetrasphere?
I don't know. I don't think it was Tetris though. It was like literally, it was like a polygonal dude walking through a 3D maze, and yeah, not Tetrasphere because that's Tetris with 3D.
Oh, Wet Tricks.
Looks similar. What was it?
Wet Tricks.
Wet
Maybe.
Tricks.
I don't know. I searched for N64 game Maze Cubes Fall from Sky.
Unless this was all a fever dream, it wasn't Wet Tricks either. What is the Kirby-like creature on the front cover of that game? My God.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know. It was a dark aesthetic. Kind of like a Matrix-y looking game. But while you look for that, we'll continue with the story. Yeah, rented it. And Smash is how So we rented it and then we bought it within the same week because the game was great for the time. I'm sure we'll get into how it's archaic by today's standards. For back in the day, it was like the first major crossover fighting game. First of all, on the Nintendo platform, featuring Nintendo characters at all. So it hit an unprecedented territory. And so that was, where it lacked in gameplay, made up for it with some old childhood ingenuity and fantasy. So that became the talk of the playground. Trevor and I, as intrepid 6-year-olds, would play Super Smash Brothers out on the playground, and by that I mean we role-played as the characters and pretended we were hitting each other and got called up on the yard duties every day.
PK Fire!
They're like, oh, you can't pretend that you're hitting each other because we think you really are. Don't do it again or we'll have to pull your card. Freeze, those were the days. So anyway, yeah, Trevor loved NES back in the day. That's how he got involved with Earthbound. That's how I got involved with Fire Emblem, and a lot of people did in the Melee days. But not only that, I'm pretty sure Smash 64, given that I was a dumb child, was the first time that I was exposed to a lot of those characters. Besides the Mario and Luigi and then Pikachu and Jigglypuff, I don't think I was familiar with anyone, even Link. So, yeah.
I mean, for me, like, obviously I knew Mario, I knew Yoshi, I knew Donkey Kong, Pikachu, Luigi, Jigglypuff, obviously. I think that might have been the only ones No, I definitely knew who Link was. I knew who Link was. I won't say. Probably. I don't think I knew Metroid. I didn't know Kirby back then. Star Fox. I definitely didn't know F-Zero or Earthbound. No fucking way. But I mean, 64, like, those weren't the characters that were being marketed anyways. 64 has the infamous commercial of the guys dressed up as Mario, Yoshi, I think Pikachu and Donkey Kong were the other two. And they were just beating the shit out of each other. And this commercial was like, what is this game? And it's beautiful. If you've never seen the commercial for the original Smash 64 game, do yourself a favor, pause this video, or wherever you're watching this, go to YouTube, look it up. It's amazing. I love it. Gaming, the old school gaming had some weird marketing for games. Still does sometimes. But 64, Smash 64 was just a beautiful commercial. Whoever came up with that idea was a genius, because that's how I learned about the game. I think that that's probably a part of why Smash 64 did really well. It's just like, that was a great way to promote it.
Yeah. And gosh, you say borderline obsession. I think at this point it's obsession for both of us. What I think it really launched my passion for gaming, period. Because I mean, Super Mario 64. I mean, that's one thing, right? It's a great game. The one with the maze thing that scared me, that was never gonna helped me. That's kind of traumatized me. That I still talk about that with my therapist. But Smash 64. I mean, the introduction to all those different franchises. I remember talking with my mom when I was a kid about wanting to go to the mall, wanting to explore, you know, the game stores like Software, etc., or whatever, saying, "Oh, let's look for. I want an action figure of Fox McCloud," and they're like, "Who the hell is that? Let's go to." Because it was very difficult up until the Amiibo era to find representation in like physical form, collector's items, action figures of these characters.
Yeah.
And because we were going to these stores where they were making these video game action figures for, you know, 30-year-old men and not 6-year-old kids, it was very difficult to explain or afford it. So at the end of the day, I ended up having a few Mario characters from McDonald's Happy Meals. And then Amiibo came out in mass later.
I want to say that like Mario and Mario Adjacent is really the only things that Nintendo did toys for back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm aware, I mean, obviously Rob exists, but I don't think that quite counts here.
Mm-hmm. They looked pretty janky back in the day, though, too. Like, it's funny. The production quality has certainly went up, even on the mainline Mario stuff. Like, I'm going to get them right now. I'll show you a couple of the old toys that I have from back then. It'll be just a sec.
Very well. I guess while he's doing that, so as I mentioned, I didn't really get to play Smash 64 much as a kid. It just wasn't a thing for me. I didn't have an N64, didn't have access to it. My grandmother had a Super Nintendo that I played whenever I went to her house, so my big games growing up were, you know, Mario RPG, Mario 3. Yoshi's Island was huge for me. Hell up! I got a painting for it right there. Mario World, which is the best Mario platformer, the best 2D Mario platformer, period. Mario 3 is second place, but nothing else comes close. So it really wasn't until Melee for me when I jumped on board for Smash. But as soon as I did, it was like, oh shit, this is my thing. And I was just so damn into it. Unfortunately, when I was playing 64 earlier today, I was not good. I was not very good at all. I don't know if it's just the game itself and its older mechanics, or if it was just something with the emulator or my controller or what to, because I sure as hell was not using a normal controller. But it felt like the characters were just like very slippery. It was fast move, a lot faster move than I was expecting. And now we have a Mario plush, which looks good. That's a good. Luigi looks a little bit off, but there's something wrong with Luigi's face here. I don't know what it is, but oh, that is definitely the Yoshi from Mario RPG, because he is fat.
These were on my backpack in elementary school. They're probably 20 years old.
Speaking of fat video game character merchandise, Fat Pikachu.
Fat Pikachu.
Better than modern Pikachu. I'll say it. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yep. It spins around too. You can pull back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Pikachu, you say? Yes. Firstly, I do enjoy me a fat Pikachu.
Oh my god! I just remembered that as a kid I had Pikachu slippers.
Sweet. You know,
holy shit! I forgot all about those.
Unlocking.
Oh my god! Can I find a picture of that shit? Nice.
1998.
That's them. Yes, these. Oh my god! I gotta get a picture of these up. I used to have these.
Sweet.
Oh man. I'll have to send it to you as well. But oh yeah, that's the same Bob-omb I got.
Bob-omb you have. Oh, and I also think it's funny you have a Black Yoshi painting, and I have.
That is not Black Yoshi.
It looks black from here.
That's because it's far away, and
Darker.
the camera quality doesn't show it too well from that distance.
Right. Okay. Well, I have a Black Yoshi plush regardless, I guess. Oh, that's cool. I like the painting though.
So these are the Pikachu slippers that I had as a kid. It was a thing. I wore them around the house because why the hell not? Nobody can tell me what to do. But I had that shit.
Oh, you know, it's funny. So did I. I had that same pair. Of
nice.
Yeah. Wait. Nice. Very cool. So you're saying that so Smash 64 wasn't up to snuff for you recently?
It really wasn't. But a lot of that is just me looking back on this game 23 years later. I played Melee, Brawl, 4, Ultimate, so I have all these expectations in my mind of how things work, and that definitely affected my gameplay. Like, I did a dash attack as Link, and it wasn't the dash attack I was expecting. I did a forward aerial as Mario, and it was not the forward aerial I was expecting. And obviously, you know, there are no side specials in Smash 64. If you hold forward on the control stick and you press the special button, you're just doing the neutral special move. Mario's throwing a fireball, not a cape. Link is still throwing a boomerang. The bow and arrow wasn't added until Melee, which is wild to me. They put in Link but not having a bow and arrow. That's wild. I don't know what led to that design decision, but god, wow, okay. But I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to in preparation for this. I think I got to play classic mode with 6 different characters, and I unlocked Jigglypuff and Captain Falcon. Wasn't able to unlock Ness. I was trying to, but you have to play on normal difficulty. Only use 3 lives, and if you use a continue, then you lose. So I wasn't able to get Ness. If I got him, I was going to work on Luigi next. Because Luigi, you have to break the targets with all 8 starting characters. And I did break the targets with a couple of them. I think I cleared it with Pikachu and Link. But, no, I did it with Samus as well. But Mario, I failed on. I failed with Captain Falcon as well. But he doesn't count for that unlockable. But, it was definitely... If I had played it back in the day, I'm sure I would have fonder memories of it, but just playing it now with the future knowledge that I have, I didn't strictly enjoy it, but that's not the game's fault. It's the difference of 23 years and how things have changed. I do think that it is very rough. Especially, it's like, again, this is me looking back, but it felt very, very not great. Which is funny because I also played Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl recently, kind of just to see what that would be like, and I did not think that was a very good game at all. Oh my god, it's got its problems. Just the menuing sometimes is a pain in the ass. But I think part of why Smash 64 succeeded is, first of all, the huge crossoverness of the Nintendo characters. Never done before. Never been done before. The closest we'd ever had to that was, and I'm not even sure if this game was before Smash 64 or not. I think it might have been. But a Wart and a Chain Chomp, and I think some minor Nintendo stuff appearing in Link's Awakening is like the closest we've really ever had to a Nintendo crossover before Smash. So that element was like huge for it. There's also the fact that while Smash wasn't the original platform fighter, there weren't really any other ones that were like hugely popular that were competing with it. Now, anybody that dares to make a platform fighter is being compared to Nintendo and Smash Brothers, whether that's fair or not. But Smash 64 did not have to deal with that problem. And then Melee came out a little under 3 years later. And I get the feeling that it was greenlit pretty much immediately after 64 released. Because, hey, they wanted that. They wanted it to be a launch title for the GameCube, and Sakurai was able to take anything that was a bit rougher about 64 and polish it up, and he did damn good.
polish it up, and yeah, and to the point where even the what's the word I'm looking for here? Even what was not polished in Melee has become beloved and kind of a part of the gameplay, like wave dashing, etc. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I think, and it's funny because having played it recently myself, I was thinking, you know what, the controls are pretty tight. I'm thinking, but still, for back then at the very least. But I think it's coming from that perspective. I think if you're playing it now, having played the other Smashes, you're not going to get another Smash out of it. It is definitely a historical item, kind of an artifact. I think my fondness of it comes from having been there and having playing it, and that just comes.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
I think,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's hard to play a game back from that era or older that you never played before, and playing it now, having seen what modern gaming is like. Last year I played Earthbound for the first time, and it was a bit of a rough experience for me. Not because Earthbound is bad, but because I have all of these expectations from both people hyping up the game, but also how modern gaming and modern RPGs work now, and having to go into the mechanics of an old Super Nintendo RPG, when, especially from a company that didn't really do RPGs. Like, yeah, Final Fantasies 4, 5, and 6 were on the Super Nintendo, and all of them, in my opinion, which I might have some pushback here, but they were better than Earthbound. To their credit, Square Enix made a lot of RPGs, so they figured things out. Nintendo hadn't really made much. So there was some things with Earthbound that I had struggles with, like the menuing and the inventory management. So it's just going back from, like, if I played Earthbound when it was new on Super Nintendo, I probably would have really enjoyed it. Because, I mean, Super Mario RPG has a little bit of menuing jank, a little bit. And its inventory is better than Earthbound's, but it's still a management that you have to deal with. But that's a game that I played as a kid, and I look back on that game fondly. Meanwhile, somebody that would only be playing that game for the first time now may not like it for the same issue that I had struggles with Earthbound. So it's fair.
Yeah, they'll say, why do you want Geno in Smash? You know,
because I love the game. You mentioned something as well about how the game controlled cleanly. I had to edit the controls for my controller because Shield was on the Z button. You know what we don't have on controllers now? A Z button. Also, do you know how you jump in Smash 64? The C stick! What the fuck? Holy shit! So I remapped all of the C sticks for the Y button. I was like, fuck that shit. Because, like, you know, the second control stick is for smash attacks now. So I'm over here trying to do smash attacks, and instead it's just like, why am I jumping? What is happening here? Also, charging up attacks in 64, the charge is like a half second and it just happens. There is no holding on to that charge at all. There was a lot that I had to get used to, and like kind of relearn from modern Smash. Yeah, and it was definitely challenging.
Absolutely. Interesting. I didn't have the C-stick problem. Maybe on the N64, but the GameCube controller, they let you do the usual tilt.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's a decent consensus to come to. It was brilliant for the time, and that's what launched the series. If you're going back to it and you've never played it before, it could be a little interesting.
Yeah.
As a lot of games from older eras can be. I think.
Also, I'm sorry, it wasn't a C stick. It was the 4 C buttons, like the yellow D-pad that the N64 had. That's what I meant by C stick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but no denying that it has a revolutionary legacy, and this really lined up well as well. 64th episode, really closely timed to the 23rd anniversary of the game.
Yeah, about a week after the anniversary.
Yeah. So that's cool in itself too. that's cool in itself too. I'm glad we changed things up.
Yeah.
A few days ago.
We made the right move.
So,
yep. Something I want to talk about here with Smash 64. Obviously, what do we talk about the most about Smash? The characters, right? So let's look at the characters that were in this first game for a bit here. And most of these characters, I think, they make a lot of sense. Like, yeah, this character should be added to the game. Like, obviously, you gotta have Mario, right? Mario has to be in the game. If you don't have Mario, then what's the fucking point? So, obviously, they had to have him. You had to have Link as well. Mario and Zelda were the biggest fucking things for Nintendo. Samus, it was also fairly big at that time. She was pretty popular. The Donkey Kong countries were loved. Yoshi was really an attachment to Mario, but I mean, they had two good games for Yoshi between Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, and they had Yoshi's Story on the N64, which certain people think is the best Yoshi game ever, and they're wrong. Kirby, that top ball's always loved. Let's see here. Pikachu. Pokemon was fucking huge. Pokemon blew the hell up, and then it's just like, we're here now forever. You can't get rid of me. Good luck. I'm not sure if Star Fox 64 was before Smash 64 or not, but even then we had Star Fox on the NES. I think it was on the NES, or maybe it was Super Nintendo. And there's the canceled, Super Nintendo. And then there was the canceled Star Fox 2 project, so there was Fox. And then it got a little bit weirder. Luigi, sure. They were just like, hey, we have some extra characters. We can make Luigi off of Mario. Sure, that's easy. And it's like, what about Jigglypuff? Okay.
Changed
why?
Forever.
Now, we know now that Jigglypuff was added because it was very easy to take Kirby's existing model and convert it to Jigglypuff. So they were able to get that one done a lot easier than if they had added in a character like, say, Mach Rider. Mach Rider would have been quite a bit more difficult of a work. But then we also had Captain Falcon, which F-Zero, as far as I'm aware, was not very big at the time. To my knowledge, it wasn't. There's an F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, and there's an F-Zero, I think it's F-Zero X, that was on the Nintendo 64, which I haven't played it. I played the Super Nintendo one a little bit, and oh my god, no. I hate it. Bad. And we know that Captain Falcon was based off of the one of the characters that was going to be the beta version of Smash 64 when it was like the Dragon King or whatever it was called. And they took one of the characters from that and they essentially converted into Captain Falcon. So that was easily be done for him. But then we had Ness from Earthbound, which Ness, like, some people always like to say that Smash Bros. Likes to have like the what the fuck character choice, like a character that nobody really would see coming, and people go like it's a head scratcher for people. Mr. Game & Watch, Rob, Wii Fit Trainer, they all kind of fit into that barrel. People have said Jigglypuff for Smash 64. You know what? That's fair, but I would also say that Captain Falcon and Ness kind of fall into that banner too. It's probably less so for the Japanese fan base, but I don't suspect Earthbound was super popular in America at the time. I could easily be wrong. I wasn't plugged into message boards at that time of life, so I could be wrong. But from my understanding of things, those were the characters that people had the biggest "who" reaction towards. So seeing them be included is wild to me. And if they were in that Smash, I don't know if we would have ever had them. Captain Falcon, I definitely think we would have never gotten if he wasn't in Smash 64. If we didn't have Ness, then we probably would have gotten Lucas and Melee. And then we would just have Lucas, period, moving on. But we probably would have never gotten Ness. Maybe in maybe like Smash 4 might have added him as like, hey, here's a costume for Lucas. It's Ness, kind of like Olimar and Alf. I can see that maybe happening. But if they weren't in the original, I don't think they would become Smash mainstays. Jigglypuff as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Jigglypuff wouldn't have made it later on. I mean, there's more important characters. You think about Jigglypuff. If it weren't for the Kirby model thing, people would be asking, why not Mewtwo? Why not Meowth? You know, as far as Captain Falcon goes, agreed. Because as F-Zero X was fairly popular, F-Zero GX was amazing and very well loved. But
GX was GameCube.
Nintendo. Yeah. And Nintendo didn't seem to quite love F-Zero enough anyway, so it would have died with the GameCube, and nothing more would have really come of it.
Yeah.
Which is, and Captain Falcon, I mean, he's so identifiable now. Like, so many people know and love Captain Falcon for his inclusion in Smash, and he has ascended to a meme now. So,
I mean, he could have had a chance in Melee. I could see him possibly being added to Melee. Because Sakurai was just, like, Sakurai was into things like, oh, Mach Rider would be cool, but how would I do him without his bike? But then he's also like, Captain Falcon without the Blue Falcon. I feel like if you can do one, you could do the other, sir. But it's like, I think Captain Falcon would have been on the table for Melee. Whether or not he would have been picked or not, who knows? But if he hadn't been, never, ever would have been on the table again.
And then Ness, I think Ness might be like the biggest WTF character from Smash. I remember when I first fought Ness, and the character silhouette came on the screen, and you're like, "What is this?" And you see him, and you're like, "Whoa!" I mean, I was a 6-year-old short child with black hair. I was like, "Wow, it's me!"
Representation matters.
Yeah, precisely. And you know who I was most excited for out of those characters? Luigi. Because I knew who he was when I was a 6-year-old boy. I would smack myself upside the head right now. I'm like, come on, he doesn't even have his own voice in this game. They just sped up Mario's voice.
Luigi is also the only of the 4 unlockable characters in 64 that you fight normally in classic mode. Because you fight a team-up of Mario and Luigi, but you never fight Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, or Ness. They can appear as your ally in either the 2v2 battle or the one against Giant Donkey Kong, but you will never fight against them.
Right.
Which I find interesting.
Oh, Giant Donkey Kong, what a throwback. Yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder, and I have no evidence on this at all, but it kind of makes me wonder if Luigi originally wasn't going to be unlockable. Considering he's the only unlockable character that's in the classic mode, I kind of wonder if he was supposed to be base game. Or not base game, but like starting roster. But Sakurai decided that the roster looked really weird having 3 unlockable slots and not 4, and it would look kind of lopsided. Like, we know that he doesn't really care to square off the menus for the roster select screen, which is fair enough, because sometimes that's a pain in the ass. But considering that the 4 unlockable slots on 64 are like visible, I could kind of see him saying, like, you know what, this looks weird, having 9 be starting, and then there's just, like, 3 mystery boxes. Let's just make another one be a mystery box. I believe it.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. And then another character I wanted to talk about a little bit, too, is Fox. Because, again, I think, 64 was out before Smash Brothers, but regardless, this was the first time that we really saw Fox fighting at length on foot.
Oh, Star Fox 64 is 2 years older than Smash.
Wow.
All right, that explains it.
Yep. But this is the first time we really see Fox fighting at length on his feet. So they really had to say, how are we going to create this space pilot character who's never been seen outside of a tank or a spaceship?
Fox and Captain Falcon both had that.
Yeah, so Sakurai had to be very, very, very liberal with his creativity, and that's when we first got those first taste of like him really stretching his noodle, and which is more or less what he's known for now. So I thought Fox's inclusion was really cool as well. We don't need 3 versions of his moveset, but it was really cool.
Fox, Captain Falcon had to have a lot of creativity. Donkey Kong didn't need it, but he got the creativity, and I don't know why. Why was Spinning Kong created? I don't.
Sakura's like,
Okay.
this is funny.
Like, to
Yeah,
be
then
fair.
next, I mean, Paula taught him all his moves. To be fair, what? Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, to be fair, like, Donkey Kong, imagining him going, like, something that would allow him to have some kind of vertical movement, there's really not much that I can think of for that. But I definitely would never have come up with Spinning Kong.
Yep. I would have probably called it, like, Helicon.
You can't. That's too somewhere to hell. Will upset 1,000,000 moms. We can't do that.
Oh my god. It was back in those days. Good lord.
And it's these days too, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
People.
Mm-hmm. Yep, people.
But maybe like every other character is, in my opinion, fairly well represented. Like, I know a lot of people want a refresh for Samus, and to a lesser degree, a refresh for Mario, because they're not as well represented as they could be. And I mean, in a lot of that's because like Mario gets new power-ups every freaking day, and Samus is strangely floaty. And I don't know. I think there could be some things done better with her moveset. Like, representing Morph Balls, yes, cool. The Morph Ball bomb sucks, though. It sucks. And the Charge Beam is not how her beam is in Metroid at all. So that's always been one that people kind of pointed out. Personally, I think the missiles are fine, though. If I was going to change the missiles, I'll just add in an ice option.
Yeah. Or we can just have Anthony Riggs come in for ice.
Yeah, we'll just tell her that she's not allowed to use her power-ups. Sorry, lady.
Oh, there you go. Remember me?
Who you?
I'm Anthony.
No one knows who that is. It's wild to be tangent onto Metroid Other M for a moment here. The first trailer shows an image of this dude who's just looking at Samus like, remember me? And everybody who's watching is like, no. Should we? And it turns out, no. He's a new character. Why did they make his whole thing be, remember me? We don't know you yet. We've never met. How could we remember you? What the fuck? So stupid. So stupid. Like, if he was at least a character from, like, Metroid comics, then it'd be like, okay, that's an interesting throwback. But no.
Yeah.
He's a wholly new character. Like, what the fuck? Oh.
Oh my
fucking
word.
Other M.
Yeah, what was it? 12 years after Smash 64 was released, Nintendo was proving that they could still release games that were technically and in other senses worse. So,
all right.
Anyway.
So, you mentioned earlier, people talking about, like, why did we get Jigglypuff? We could have had Mewtwo or Meowth. And that just brings to mind, there's rumors all times for Smash about characters that were playing for the game but got cut, or were considered for one reason or another but just didn't make it. There's that conversation for every Smash game. And it tends to lead to crazy rumor mills. It's like, we've seen people say that, like, oh, Bowser was worked on for Smash 64. Mewtwo was worked on. Meowth, Sigurd, Balloon Fighter. Most of it's bullshit. Most of it's bullshit.
Sonic. Biomiracle Boca-Teupa.
Oh god, no. The people at Source Gaming, they are good at their job. They are very good at both doing the translations of all Sakura's columns. They scour the Japanese message boards, finding things, and they've been going through for all the Smash games. They've been just trying to see, like, okay, let's separate rumor from fact to try to figure out which characters actually were considered for other Smash games, who actually wasn't, and maybe why they got removed for one reason or another. And Some of the popular ones that turned out to be bullshit that people have said, like, oh, these were considered for Smash 64. Sigurd was not.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find anything from Sakurai or Nintendo mentioning Sigurd in the original Smash Brothers. Similarly, Meowth was not planned. There's no references on anything to do with Meowth, despite people claiming that he was scrapped for Jigglypuff. Pit. There was an old rumor saying that Pit was going to be in Smash 64, but was canned because they couldn't figure out how to get his wings to work correctly. Bullshit. Peach, another one. From what the people at Source Gaming could figure out, the only 4 characters that they could find any evidence for that were either worked on or at least considered for Smash 64 that just didn't make the cut were Mewtwo, Bowser, King Dedede, and Marth. Eventually, all 4 of them would get added to Smash. 3 of them in Melee, and then 1 in Brawl. But those are the only characters that they could find anything on. Apparently, when it came to Marth, Sakurai said, this is actually from Fire Emblem's 25th anniversary is when he mentioned this, that he wanted to include Marth in the original game, but there were some but for Smash 64, there were a lot of things that were just being barely finished in time, and the 4 unlockable characters were created pretty much at the last minute. That part, I don't know if it's strictly last minute, but they were created on the basis that they could just reuse assets from other characters, both their movements and their models, so they were able to be done a lot faster. The same thing that we had with Melee with characters like, Roy, Pichu, Dr. Mario, Ganondorf. All of them were that same kind of thing. So Marth missed the cut on being that because he would have been too unique. If they were able to get him slotted in, he would have been a modified Link. That's what would have happened. Apparently, and then Bowser and King Dedede, he mentioned that they actually did work on them and that they were both partially complete at one point. So we could have had them. We probably would have had, it was probably one of those things where it's like, okay, I can add one more character, or I can add these 4 characters, which has happened in like Melee as well. It was 1 character or these 7 other characters, and they went for the 4 that they could easily do. I'm guessing we probably would have had Bowser as our character out of that, but who knows? And then Mewtwo, they mentioned that, let's see here, he was... he just says Mewtwo was actually planned to appear during development, but due to a variety of issues was cut. How far he got into consideration, if there was any work on him, unknown. But we know that he was up there. I'm sure there were probably other characters that were on their list of potentials, but no word has come out of it. Apparently, they even considered having the other Star Fox members be alts for Fox, kind of like how Bowser Jr. works, which would have been amazing. That would have been really fucking cool. And then we learned, during Brawl's development, we learned that the final Smashes were going to be in Smash 64 originally. He's had that idea from the beginning. And people have found voice clips of a few of the characters announcing their final Smash, which is crazy. It's like, holy shit.
Nice.
That's probably one of the features that they were having problems with, I would assume, and it got cut at the end. Because they couldn't get it to work. That I would believe there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's wild that this game of 12 characters has exploded into nearly 100. There's a lot of fighting games out there.
I really
No, go on.
Oh no, sorry. Okay. All I was going to say is I really enjoyed how Ultimate handled that as well, explaining the legacy of Smash 64.
Yeah.
With the opening roster being as slim as it was.
Yeah. Like, there's debate between different people about, like, we want a lot of unlockables. We want no unlockables. There's a lot of people have, like, their own opinion on that. And fair enough. I think, though, having a lot of unlockables is fine as long as it's not a pain in the ass to unlock them. Melee is a pain in the ass to unlock these characters. Oh my god. Now, it's like they all have, like, there's a special requirement that they all have, or you can just play 1,000 versus matches.
Yeah. God. Yeah.
Brawl introduced also being able to unlock them in Self-Placed Emissary. And I think Smash 4... I don't remember how Smash 4 did it. Smash 4 had minimal unlocks, though, which I was okay with. But Ultimate started us out with the original 8. Or was it originally was the original 12? I thought it was 8. Pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was like 3 or 4 different ways that you could unlock every character. And I was like, that's cool. And none of them were difficult. It's like, fuck yes. Give me that. I thought it was so cool when Sakurai alluded in, like, I think it was the first trailer for Ultimate that, like, we were starting a roster maybe as small as the original game. And there was a lot of debate about what the fuck? What do you mean? We need to know more. And I thought that was cool that they did that. And you had to slowly get everyone. That was awesome. But Smash 64, the unlocks, I don't think they're strictly too difficult. They can be a little bit annoying, but I don't think it was too difficult. Let me have it up here. So there were 4 unlockable characters, 1 unlockable stage, then 2 unlockable... I struggle to call these modes, but technically they were considered modes at the time. But I mean, there was Jigglypuff, which literally just beat classic mode with anybody, and you can fight Jigglypuff and you can unlock him. Captain Falcon, complete classic mode in 20 minutes or less, and don't use a continue. Okay, that's not bad at all. I got that in 2 attempts at the Jigglypuff. Ness,
a
little bit harder. Clear classic mode on normal difficulty, which there were 5 difficulties. And you can choose, like when you're playing the original game, you could choose between having 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 lives before you get your game over. But for Ness, you have to play on normal, set your lives to 3, and if you use a continue, then you miss out on Ness, so you can't use a continue. Which is like, okay, that's a little bit harder. Cool, thanks. I have yet to get to I think the Kirby Fighters was where I got my first game over. I was like, God damn it. Fucking Kirby Fighters. But like then there's the unlockable stage, Mushroom Kingdom, which you get by completing classic mode with all 8 starting characters, and then playing on each multiplayer stage at least once. I think you can just do that in versus match, but I'm not sure. You could not unlock Battlefield or Final Destination in the original game. But then the modes, you can unlock the item switch, so you can turn items off. But you have to play 100 rounds of versus match first. And then to unlock the sound test, which... Okay. You have to break the targets and board the platforms with all characters. And I honestly, when I was playing earlier, I did not expect board the platforms to be different for every character. I didn't know that. I thought it was one set map. So that was different for me to find out.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so...
Like, I don't think the unlocks here are bad at all. Melee is the only game where I feel like it's a problem.
Yeah. I think it's a bit cheeky to have item switch locked behind anything.
Yeah.
But besides that...
But at the time, it was also, like, nobody really cared about the... Well, that's not what I mean. Yeah. I mean, say, like, it wasn't... Nobody thought it was going to be a big deal.
True. And I remember never unlocking Mushroom King. How did that happen? It's so easy to unlock Mushroom Kingdom, and I remember I never unlocked it when I was a kid.
Maybe there was one character that you just never did classic mode with.
Yeah, that's such a head scratcher. Because then it shows up in a later game, and I'm like, what is this? Or I'm reading about it on like IGN or something back in the day when they promoted real journalism, and I was looking at an old picture of that, and I'm like, oh my god, is this like the Toad leak from Nintendo Power for Melee or Sonic and Tails? It's like, oh, never mind. No, it's something. Yeah, and to speak to the modes too, I mean, it's interesting. Where the platforms was pretty fun. I mean, between the couple of them, obviously Break the Target's just more of the ingenious addition. But I wouldn't have been mad about seeing Board the Platforms return for Ultimate, for instance, just for that callback. It kind of just didn't happen, and it never has. It's never come back.
Yeah, the mini games. I mean, we've had Board the Platforms never came back. Race to the Finish came back in Melee, but was pretty different. I was not expecting to be chased down by enemy fighters when I did Race to the Finish. Like, oh shit, okay. Uh, Funnily enough, on that one of the matches I was doing, Yoshi was the first opponent, or the Polygon Fighter version of Yoshi, and he actually followed me through the whole way through. It was like, I don't think you're supposed to do that, sir. But his jumping, he was able to jump over the barrier. It's like, what are you doing? Leave me alone. I'm trying to get through these bumpers. Fuck off, Yoshi. No. But Break the Targets came back in Melee, and it still had a different Break the Targets for every character. But then in Brawl, it came back with just 5 different difficulty levels, and that was all it was. And then we never saw it again. And then our minigame selection since has been, honestly, dwindling in a bad way. The minigame selection in future Smash titles has not been great.
Yeah, and I understand that the modes in Smash have kind of taken a back burner in Ultimate because there's just so much that they wanted to compile into the game from previous games. So I understand that. But in the next Smash, Smash 6, hopefully we get back into a little more sinew with what we're dealing with as far as modes go. I think 64, for what it was, definitely let a good groundwork as far as those minigame modes goes. And as we discussed in depth in our future classic mode discussion, it had its limitations, but it did set the groundwork for like classic mode as it is, and as it actually as it generally kind of should be.
Yeah. I mean, the reason it's called classic mode isn't because it's like an arcade mode from other fighting games. It's because in fact, before it was called 1P mode. And so now we call it classic because like that's the mode that was the original one-player mode in that game. Whereas successive games have given us extra one-player modes. So you can't just call it 1P game anymore.
Yep. Yeah, you had 1P mode, 2P mode, and extras, I think, in Smash.
And options,
And options. Oh, what a time. I wonder if Sakurai's wife developed.
Actually, no, it was options and it was data. Those were the 4.
Oh, that's right. That's so strange. That is so strange. Data. What is this, Star Trek? So there's one thing that Smash 64 does do better than Ultimate.
Oh.
And it does do better than... Yeah, and it does do better than Smash 4. And Brawl, I think. The only one that does it better is Melee. Have the announcer screech the Super Smash Brothers title when you load the game. Why is that something that is stopped?
Agreed.
Like, why?
Hardcore agreed.
Yeah. So, I mean, going through the toy room and having, Master Hand throw all these characters into life in the opening sequence, where, you're being, I don't know if it's quite the lore anymore, but where you're treating it like a kid playing with toys, that's pretty darn cool. And on the other hand, I'm like, where the hell do you get these Nintendo toys, kid?
His uncle works at Nintendo.
Oh my god, probably his uncle's fucking Sakurai. When you go through all of that,
really,
and then yep. Yeah, he said you're never, goats are never going to be the same way again. So on the aside, so when you go through that opening sequence, and then you hit it with that Super Smash Brothers, there's no better feeling.
Yeah.
I wish they brought that back, but I mean, you've got it in the old days, and that was really
to
cool.
be fair to Ultimate though, Ultimate has the cutscene where they do what's that song called? Lifeform or something? No, Lifelight. Light. Something along those lines. I think it's Lifelight, actually. I don't remember for sure. But, like, they have this huge cinematic. All the characters are getting blasted and murdered.
Yep, it's Lifelight. And
their souls are being ripped out of their bodies, and it's fucking crazy. And I kind of feel like if they followed that up, they did, like, we had now, after cutscenes done, we had the title screen, and then they had the scream of the Super Smash. I kind of feel like that would have taken away from that moment. So I can kind of understand why it would have been there for Ultimate, because I feel like that would have... I don't know, it just would have felt odd to have that right after that huge cinematic. But it definitely should have been there for Brawl. I don't think it would have been a problem there. And it definitely would not have been a problem with Smash Smash 4, when its cinematic intro is just trailers stitched together. It's like, okay. This one didn't do a whole lot of work here now, did you? And I guess to be fair, the Brawl one is cutscenes from Subspace. It's cutscenes from Subspace Emissary, but Melee had a damn good intro cutscene, and Smash 4 was charming in its own right as well.
Sure.
Smash 4 definitely had the worst intro though.
Up until Life Fight. Oh yeah, absolutely. And in some ways, they really rapidly changed the gameplay form of Smash 4, laid the groundwork for Ultimate.
Smash 4 really is just
steps out.
Smash 4 is just Smash Ultimate's beta. Honestly.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed. And they knew it. They pretty much knew it when they were making it. So, yeah. Melee, though, I mean, I remember seeing that intro in like a Walmart, being like, "Oh my god," and watching it like 10 times.
Ridley's in this game?
In the video game department. Wolf is in this game?
Samurai Goro? Who's that?
What was it? The
Look at all the Pokemon that are in this game.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Runaway Five. But yep. Yeah, all the Victory Bells in this game. You can play as it.
What? That's crazy.
Rhydon? Yeah,
Mew?
Lickitung. Now that's where it's at. Yep.
Magic. Oh, I'm sorry. Goldie. Why is it not been turned into Magikarp yet in Smash? Why is it Goldie? This is the mystery that I will never understand. I wonder if anybody's ever asked Sakurai about that. I'm sure somebody has.
Yeah.
Like
Pokeball. Were there any Pokemon from 64 that have never come back? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, there have been. Beedrill. Hitmonlee.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Beedrill, Hitmonlee. Beedrill got effectively replaced by Unknown in Melee. Let's see, Really? We're not going to have a quick and easy link here on Golding's own fucking page? Okay. Oh, wait, no, here we go. Let's see, what other ones were in 64 that have never come back? Beedrill never came back. Blastoise only came back from Melee. Same with Chansey, which is kind of surprising. Charizard also only came back from Melee. Clefairy only came back from Melee. Hitmonlee never came back. Coughing never came back, but got replaced by Wheezing in Melee. Meowth skipped Melee and then has been back ever since, which is interesting. Onyx never came back. Starmie never came back, but it got replaced by Staryu from Melee. And that's all of them. So really...
Beedrill is the one, yeah.
Mew, Snorlax, and Golding have been in every Smash. Although Snorlax's effectiveness has gotten reduced significantly since 64 in Melee. 64, I was playing earlier, and he took up the entire stage's platform. It's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Melee, he was fucking huge. Brawl, he's a baby now. All right.
Yeah, we have characters. They have Pokemon that use Takedown, but not in the same way Beedrill did, or Unknown. Unknown was only in Melee, and just got nixed after that.
I like how they worked though in Smash. Like that's and they never replaced that functionality with a different one that was in that same way, which is a real shame because they easily could.
They could. The closest we had in Brawl was the Centurions in Pit's Final Smash. But that was about it.
I would say the closest was Latios and Latias.
Oh, yeah.
And Cat and Nana by extension.
But still not quite the same. They can definitely afford to have Beedrill or Unknown come back or have another Pokemon in their place.
I mean, they brought back... who was it? There's another one from Tactics World that came back for Ultimate. Trying to see... What was I thought they did? Yes. No. Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was Caesar came back from Melee for Ultimate and works differently now.
Interesting that was just one they randomly cut for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's only in those
Mm-hmm.
two, Melee and Ultimate. Why? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Very strange. Huh. There we go. Cool. Then, of course, assist trophies were, what, toyed with since maybe Melee and then emerged for Brawl?
I'm not really sure about that. It wouldn't
Got it.
surprise me if Sakurai had the idea for them in Melee, but I don't know if there's anything out there that's been mentioned about it. Let me
Got
see
it.
here.
No,
No. They were originally, they tried to implement them in Melee. The one that we know about was the ducks from Duck Hunt, which would have just flied around and been a distraction for everybody essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, cool. Something else I was thinking about, heading back to the characters for just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dee and Bowser and Mewtwo.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the implications of including Marth back then would have been.
You see,
Because
okay,
I know.
okay. Before you go on down this tangent, I actually wanted to bring up a discussion point, and I was going to talk about this. So first, I wanted to go ahead and ask you. Okay, let's put you in the chair. Let's say that you're on the team for Smash 64. Whether you have your future knowledge or not, I'll leave up to you. But you have room to add one more character that's one of these four: Mewtwo, King Dedede, Bowser, Marth. Who do you add into Smash, and why? Who do you make be the 13th character?
Got it. So on top of the existing roster remains the same.
Yes.
And we add one more.
Yes.
Of the four. Okay. Assuming that the character can be created to my parameters and not except
assume that their moveset would be roughly equivalent to whatever they got when they were first at the Smash officially. So it would have been the Melee version of Marth, Mewtwo, or Bowser, and the Brawl version of King Dedede. Obviously without a side special.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, I'll tell you who my choice is, and then I'll tell you who my top two are.
Okay.
Okay, my choice is Marth. It's inescapable at this point. I mean, given if it was, I have no knowledge of this, it might be a little different. At the same time, it's the one franchise that's unique to Smash at that point. Representing what is already a huge franchise in Japan. And it would be a fairly rudimentary moveset to include, I think, at any point in the series. So that's my choice. No surprise there, probably. Tertiary to that would be King Dedede, because I think Kirby could stand to have a character in this spot. Bowser, I mean, that would be really cool. It's the likely choice, I think, if we were getting a 13th character in reality, because it's the Mario character. It's the villain. It makes sense. That's exactly why I'm not choosing Bowser. Just to be a little different, because Kirby is also a very, very beloved franchise, and I think Dedede would fit in fine in that scope. And I think I also have a hard time imagining that U2 would just be done justice, I guess, in 64's framework. Understanding the limitations of the 64, it might be a little odd.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's me.
So, here's my thoughts on the four of them. So, outside of King Dedede being a second Kirby rep, he doesn't really pop up in my head for me on this one. Both with the future knowledge and with 1999 knowledge. I didn't even know Kirby anything back then, so that would never come up. And King Dedede would have been like the fourth one out of me for this whole list. Initially, I thought I was going to say Mewtwo, because kid me back then was into Pokemon. But I actually just checked to see when Mewtwo's movie released, and it was after 64. So for that, I don't think I would do Mewtwo. To be fair, it released in Japan about 6 months before Smash 64 released. But for the American release, which would have been when I would have known about it, I wouldn't have that. And also, as you mentioned, Mewtwo would have been... I think he would have been the more difficult one to include based on like what his moves are and kind of how he moves around a little bit. Maybe not too much, but he would have been more difficult of the four for sure. If we're talking about like, if we're not including future knowledge at all, then I go Bowser, because he's the big villain. Yeah. He's like our game. The game gets, it's a third Mario character, but it's the first villain character, first and only, and that's definitely saying something. And I don't think Bowser not having Koopa Claw would have been a problem for anything. It's like, who fucking cares about that? We don't have
it would have been cool to see him in his Super Mario 64 model running around in Smash.
Yeah, definitely.
That would have been fun.
But if we're taking future knowledge into account, I'm throwing in Marth. And I have reasons. First of all, as you mentioned, it'd be a new franchise. Fire Emblem wouldn't have... Fire Emblem hadn't had a character before Marth and Smash, so there's that. Second of all, I'm thinking about things in these... this is why I interrupted you earlier. But the sweeping changes that would happen if Marth was in Smash 64. Because that changes history. If Bowser was added to 64 for Melee, that really doesn't change anything too much. Deity being added might change things a teensy bit. Mewtwo, maybe a teensy bit. Bowser wouldn't change anything. Marth could change a lot. Because suddenly, Fire Emblem is most likely to be introduced to the West sooner than it was. I'm not clear what Fire Emblem games would have been releasing between Smash 64's release and Melee. Or maybe more accurately say Smash 64 and Roy's game.
Nothing.
Well, was it not anything?
Yeah. Not anything.
Actually, no, that would make sense because Well, what about Thracia? Because Sniggery would have existed with Genealogy, but what about Thracia 776?
Let's see.
September 1st.
Okay.
Yep. No, because that's September 1st, 1999. So yeah. So Thracia probably would have made it to America. And they might have given us Genealogy as well, considering it kind of ties in. So they might have given us that one. And we would have had Roy's game be released as well. Yep. So that changes some Fire Emblem history for worldwide audiences. But also, I think that changes Melee's roster a tiny bit. Not too much. But I do think it means that we don't get Roy. I think if Marth is in 64, then we do not get Roy in Melee. Because Marth and Roy were both put into Melee. Westerners didn't know about these characters. Sakurai considered not even including them in the Western release because we didn't know them. And I kind of wonder if they had done that, if they would have given us replacements or not. Who knows? But Roy was added to also advertise the next Fire Emblem game. But I think if Fire Emblem was released in the West at that point, I don't think we would have gotten Roy. If I recall correctly, I think it was debated between Roy and Leaf for that slot. So I think we would have had Leaf instead. And that, in the overall, past that point, may not have changed a whole lot because Roy immediately was gone for Brawl and only came back to Smash 4 because people wanted him to, because people asked for him to come back. And I could see Leaf possibly having that exact same journey, but that still would have been a departure from reality. Whereas the other ones being added in, I don't think would have been that different. But this, we would not have had to fire. I imagine Leaf still would have. I imagine Leaf would have said how he would have been a clone of Marth in for Melee, more than likely. But Roy would not have any popularity if this happened. Roy only has popularity because of Smash Melee. It's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we wouldn't have 20,000 clones of Marth if we went this route in reality.
Well, I don't think that would change, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that just Roy's existence does not, or the Marth Wars do not exist on Roy's inclusion in Smash. Because Lucina still would
Sure.
have been Marth. And then Chrom just would have been Leaf.
That's true. Jesus. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a departure from reality, and it's the biggest.
Genealogy and
and
Thracia might not be the black sheep of the Fire Emblem franchise anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. Absolutely. Still hoping for remakes one of these days. There's a lot that can be done there.
Every other day, it's like there's a rumor of Fire Emblem remakes, either for Genealogy and Thracia, Sacred Stones. Actually, not Sacred Stones. It's either Genealogy and Thracia, Blazing and Binding Blade, or Path of Radiance Radiant Dawn. The rumor, it circulates between the three of them. It's like, okay, can you guys pick one? Please.
At this point, I don't even know. I think I would want it to be Genealogy and Thracia because we just have never got it.
Yeah, which is fair. Like, I'd probably personally prefer the Tellius games because I'd like to be able to play them in casual mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are like that's the story that I'm the most interested in. But it's fair to want Thracia and Genealogy since they never had an American release.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the oldest ones that have been remade yet, so.
Absolutely. But Radiant, I mean, the Radiant games are my favorite games in the series, as you know. And it's really, I mean, my Path of Radiance I gave it to a friend a long time ago. And now I'm looking at eBay. I'm like, I should not have given it to a friend.
Yeah.
Because if I ever wanted to replay that, by legal means, I would have to pay
like $300
to a scalper.
It's insanity. So, this is why people emulate.
Yeah, and this is again. I mean, we went off this tangent off screen before the show started, but it's pretty much Nintendo's fault. So, re-release Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. There'll be two games that are no longer your fault for price gouging on the internet.
Yeah.
Wow. That'll be good.
And people will buy them. It's like, I don't know. Sony and Microsoft figured out that you can sell your old games again on every new console. How Nintendo is still twiddling their thumbs. Like, guys.
Yeah.
Get out the program.
A replacement for the virtual console.
No, like, it can be nice. Like, the rewind feature is fucking awesome. Remote play is really cool. Being able to, like, how some of the games have cheat code versions of them, that's cool. Sure. Yeah. But I would take putting the older games on eShop where I actually buy them. And I don't just mean a drip feed collection like what the Wii's virtual console was like. No, I mean, like, give us your library of games. There is no reason for this drip feed bullshit.
Yeah. Give us your library of games, and then let us buy what we want, and you'll make more money than you ever would have with the drip feed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus. Mm-hmm.
If they canceled NSO right now, but put up like 90% of their NES through Wii U catalog of games on the Switch's eShop, they would make a lot more money.
Yeah, and I mean. The other companies figured this out already. I mean, Microsoft. I mean, they have their own problems. They would be like nothing without Game Pass right now, but they have it.
Yeah,
and it goes a long way. Just emulate that. It's not hard. Follow those footsteps.
Oh, don't say that dirty word though.
Yes.
No, never forget that they resold us Super Mario 3D All-Stars, but each of those games was an emulated version of those games. And it's especially telling in Sunshine when it had debug elements in the version for consumers. Like, holy shit. Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
Fuck.
Yep. When you said the dirty word and we're talking about Microsoft, I almost thought you meant Activision. But...
No. That is a dirty word. But no.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully it won't be for much longer.
Yeah.
Get those guys out of there.
Oh, what a situation. Holy shit.
Yep. A situation no one condones, and it's terrible. And hopefully, we're turning a leaf on that. Speaking of leaves, like from Fire Emblem,
yes.
I think I'll add leaf to my list of Smashtopia's 365 this
All
year.
All right.
Because I have a casual interest in maybe doing that, unless we wanted to save it for the show.
Well, my personal thought on that is I wouldn't bother saving up leaf because there's a whole bunch of other Fire Emblem characters that we can do. And
there are.
I don't know leaf.
Yeah.
Like we just did Lindis last season.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little too early to do another Fire Emblem character this year.
Probably.
We'll see. Anyway, Smash 64. What a game!
Smash 64. What a game! There's something else that we haven't really touched on with 64 though, and that's the stages.
Mm-hmm.
So just like it has the smallest Smash roster, I think it has the smallest stage roster as well. But some of these stages, what the fuck are these designs? What is this Peach's Castle stage? Holy shit! What? It's like they just took random geometric shapes and slapped it together. I don't get it. Like the Mushroom Kingdom stage, like no, that looks good. I like that. Yoshi's Island, I love, they call it Yoshi's Island, but it's from Yoshi's story. But I love how it looks like a fold-up pop-out book. And the platforms, the extra platforms are made out of cardboard. That's super cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Congo Jungle is also, okay, this is like, let's do a random shape and just like randomly have moving platforms. Like, okay, I don't know what that has to do with the Congo Jungle, but okay. Hyrule Castle is very much themed after the castle in Ocarina of Time. So, sure, yeah. Planet Zebes is like, hey, can we tilt platforms? We should try tilting platforms. Okay, also acid. Why? I don't know, but acid. And make the acids be able to go so high that sometimes only the top platform can be fought on. Okay.
That stage really stresses me out.
Yeah. It's one of the only two that has never come back. One of the only two.
It did start a long-running thing of acid and Metroid stages, though.
Acid or lava, yeah, the vast majority. Dreamland, really good stage, classic Wispy Woods. Sector Z, you fight on top of Corneria, or not Corneria, the Great Fox, and then it never came back. And then we got the Corneria stage, which is literally the same thing. It's like, okay, all right. And then Saffron City, which is... Honestly, Saffron City stresses me out a little. Out of the... Saffron City and Peach's Castle both stress me out a little bit. Like, the bumper, the weird triangle shapes that do nothing helpful in the match, and that moving platform bother me. And Saffron City's like, here's a few thin platforms. Also, a random Pokemon will appear sometimes and just, like, kick you in the ass. Like, oh, okay. Alright. Sure.
They appear for a split second. I like the idea of having Saffron City, like a city-based stage for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Still would be a little bit of an ingenue in this modern age, but
I'm also kind of confused because like the main part of the Saffron City stage is Silphco, but then the building to the right of it has a helicopter landing pad. It's like, why? That's not in the original Pokemon games at all. There is no helicopter landing pad. What? Okay.
Maybe Sakurai just put his house in there with the helicopter. Planet Zebes, horrible stage. Sector Z, yep, they emulated it in other ways later on.
Yeah. Sector Z just got flat out replaced by the Corneria stage. And Planet Zebes more or less was flat replaced as well by Brinstar.
Absolutely. Both of which I think they're better stages than the 64 stage. And I also like that we got that front view with Venom on the Great Fox as well. That was
well, you want to know a fun story, even though this is about Stack 64 here. So the Venom stage, when I was playing Melee as a kid, I thought that was a different ship. I didn't know that was the Gray Fox as a kid. I thought it was a different ship entirely. I also may have thought the ships were called Corneria and Venom. Hey, I didn't know Star Fox at the time.
That's okay. Understandable. That's funny. I would be interested in a Corneria city stage, like on the ground.
Somebody made one in the old Mercurios days. I don't remember who. For some reason, Albert Wicko-Wanowitz, whatever his name was, comes to mind. But I don't know if it was him. It might have been DK3. I don't know, but somebody made it.
Yeah, it was James, maybe.
Possibly. I don't know. It could have been me, even.
Yeah, I know.
I played Assault. But there was another stage for Smash 64. Like, obviously, there was a Final Destination, and there was a Battlefield, although back then it was called Dual Zone. But neither of those were playable in the multiplayer. And then there's also the Meta Crystal stage, or Metal Cave, or Metal Cavern, Metal Mario stage, whatever you end up calling it. But that was also only playable in the classic modes whenever you fight against Metal Mario. And I always liked the layout for that stage. I wish that one would come back someday. So I feel like that one should have been brought back in Ultimate. Whether it was that it's still same format or if they gave it a graphics overhaul, either way, that would have been super cool.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a choice to not have those 3 stages be in multiplayer, but it's like, okay then.
Yeah. So I guess like they didn't think anybody would care to, because like Dual Zone and Final Destination are so simple. Final Destination has no extra platforms. Dual Zone is technically speaking the same thing as Dreamland's placement. Just there's no Wispy Woods, so you don't have to deal with any of that bullshit.
Actually, I don't. They were. Yeah. Sorry.
No.
You don't what?
I was just saying like, because Dreamland has Wispy Woods, he blows air on the stage. So Dual Zone is just Dreamland, but without Wispy Woods.
Right.
So I can see why he would think nobody would care.
Yeah. True. Yeah, and back then there wasn't a precedent. No one really did. But yeah, I think like if they did include those 3 stages, or at least Final Destination and Dual Zone, that's another history changer. We probably would have had a field called Dual Zone forever, and that would have just been a little bit strange.
I wonder why it was changed to Battlefield in Melee. I wonder.
I don't know. Dual Zone just sounds so 90s. It sounds like a place that you would go play arcade games.
Hey, Smash only exists because Sakurai liked King of Fighters, an arcade fighting game.
Yep. Hey guys, let's go to Dual Zone and pick up a pizza puck. Play some KOF in 2000. Oh boy. Yeah, Sakurai was so into it when Terry got added to Smash. My goodness. And I enjoy Terry quite a bit more than I thought I would too, probably because of Sakurai's passion. Yeah.
So here's what the Smash Wiki has to say about the Dual Zone stage and its name. The name Battlefield is retroactively applied to this stage, as redesigns of the stage that have appeared in later games of the series share that name, and no name in other languages was widely known before the Battlefield name was popularized. However, this stage's official name in Japanese, Dual Zone, doesn't match the name for Battlefield in the Japanese versions of Melee and later games, all of which use the name Battlefield. So even in Japan, they changed the name to Battlefield and Melee on. Why? I don't know. I'm curious.
Odd.
Maybe it was just like called Dual Zone internally, and they just didn't come up with an actual official name. But then when they saw people, I don't know where Battlefield. I don't know if it was being called Battlefield before Melee or not. I don't know.
Sakurai had an ex that just said we should name it Dual Zone, and then they broke up between Melee and 64's development. And he's like, "Fuck this, let's call it."
I'm gonna take them to Dual Zone.
Though? I mean,
my favorite stage from 64. Well, it's not Peach's Castle.
Peach's Castle. I mean, Hyrule Castle is at Hyrule Castle. Why is Peach's Castle not at Peach's Castle?
Honestly, it might be Yoshi's Island.
I agree.
Or as
It
it's
always
called
was my
now, an
favorite.
ultimate Super Happy Tree. But like I love
Mhm.
the design for this stage. Like it's super good. Like I never played Yoshi's Story, so there's none of that nostalgia there for me. But I just love the aesthetic. And the aesthetic has
Mhm.
it stayed true for all of its future releases. That it looks like it's coming out of
Mhm.
a little pocketbook, although it's two giant clunks of wood, but what the fuck ever. But the platforms inside of it are cardboard looking. It's so cool looking. And it's one of
Yeah.
those that's like this is a more unique platform arrangement. It's not just a
Mhm.
cookie cutter battlefield again. Sorry, Midgar,
Agreed.
but you're a little cookie cuttery. You got a gimmick, but it's like, why do you need Battlefield's platform arrangement?
Sure. Yep.
It's like
Yep.
I don't. There's the whole. It's always going to be a battle between casual and competitive, always. But
Mhm.
I don't like that we're just doing things like, oh, we're gonna make all these things that are just gonna be competitive safe, and the platforms
Mhm.
are on the more boring side of things. It's like a stage,
Agreed.
then Sakurai follows it up. It's like, but I'll give it a crazy gimmick. It's like it doesn't need to be a crazy gimmick. Just
Mhm.
let it make the gimmick be light, and then have the platform arrangement be unique.
Yeah.
There
Absolutely.
you go.
Absolutely. There you go. There you
Like
go.
Planet Zebus, I like his platform arrangements. That's fun looking. I don't like the acid.
Mm-mm. Nope. Um, I think of Yoshi's Story, whatever. Super Happy Tree is my favorite as well for the reasons you listed. Also Dreamland. I think of the stages represented here, clearly the most perennial are Super Happy Tree and Dreamland, given that they kind of set a precedent and returned in future installments.
Yeah.
Third place is Hyrule Castle for me. Probably, I like that it really gets you on the castle grounds.
Hmm.
Just the canonicity takes it a long way.
It's also the
In
only one
these like
that's
more.
big in 64. Like
Hmm.
that's the big stage for 64.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Later Temple, and then moving on to great stages like the Great Cave Offensive. There is such a thing as something that's too big in Smash, and shockingly, it's not actually Ridley.
Yeah. Christ. I also have to give the honorable mention to Metacave or Metacrystal, whatever you want to call it, because that's a really cool
Yeah.
looking stage as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I wish we could play on that stage more easily in 64,
Yeah.
and I wish it returned in Ultimate. Yeah. I mean, if they said now,
If I
oh,
could add
surprise, surprise.
If I could
Yeah.
add only one missing stage into Ultimate, it would be Metacrystal. Sorry, Pokefloats.
Yeah.
Sorry, Yoshi's Woolly World. Metacrystal's coming back.
I agree. I mean, it's to the precedent. I mean, if Sakurai came out tomorrow and said, "Actually, we have one more stage for you. It's Meta Crystal." You'd be like, "Whoa."
Fuck yeah!
If only. He's like, "Actually, it's just Evil Ryu for no reason." And you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, Evil Ryu. It's like the trophy stages in Melee's event
Hmm.
matches. Here
Oh
you
yeah.
go, fight on Evil Ryu. It's like, huh? What? See his rippling muscles. Like I don't. What? Huh?
That would be great. That would be better than Ultra Street Fighter 2 just adding him and Violent Ken into the game and being like, oh yeah, there you go. $60. Oh, that happened. Um okay, well. Cool.
All right. Well, Smash 64 changed our worlds, even if I may not
It
have
did.
known it at the time. But
They
that's
kind of
that.
did, you know.
So someday I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure we'll do a similar episode talking about Melee, and probably
Mm-hmm.
Brawl and whatever as we get through the years. But I guess the
Absolutely.
last thought I have about 64 is it really needs to be added to the Nintendo Switch Online services, and it really needs online multiplayer. Please.
Agreed. Does Mario Kart 64 have online multiplayer? I'm pretty sure it does.
I feel it. I feel like they have done online for some of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Got it.
Yes. Yes. Mario Kart 64 does have online. Apparently. From what I'm
Gotta get
quickly
the
trying to
guys
find
together
here.
for that one of these days.
Yeah, it
Nice.
says with newly added online play for up to 4 players. Which,
Nice.
really, 4? But whatever. I'll take it.
I know.
It's
Yep.
better than nothing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if I recall correctly, the leaks said that Mario or Smash 64 was going to come to Nintendo Switch Online. I guess we just gotta wait.
Okay.
That will be the
Yeah,
day that I upgrade to the Nintendo 64 version.
That's also fair because right now there's not a whole. Oh, you don't want the Happy Home upgrade for your $50?
Oh no, I don't play Animal Crossing. Also, the
know.
fact that an
I know.
upgrade to Animal Crossing, I can't remember what the game is called anymore. New Horizons. The fact that they unlock content for that behind the N64 upgrade for NSO is so stupid. What the fuck were you thinking?
They're thinking we can make money by doing almost nothing.
Just like Luigi.
Yep, just like Luigi. Just like Yoshi, some might say, but he actually worked pretty hard for all that.
Yeah, Yoshi worked hard for his money and in concealing it.
Yep. So did Turnip Boy.
That's what I hear. All right, though. Smash 64. What a wonder you were. God. We owe a lot to you. Truly.
We do. Literally, probably.
I don't know what I would be doing right now if Smash 64 was never created. We never would have met. I know that much.
Yeah, we never would have met unless it was over another video game, which...
What are the odds?
Mario Kart.
Our tastes at the time when we found Mercurius were so wildly different. No fucking way. No.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we wouldn't have met each other, and we wouldn't have met a lot of the other folks that we've gotten to know over the years as well.
I might not even be using Discord.
Yeah. Could have had a totally different life as like a pencil pusher or something, like Timmy Turner's dad.
This is where I put
my dignity.
This is where I put my dignity, if I had any.
Well, we still don't have any of that. Neither of us. But we do have a podcast about Super Smash Brothers, and that's all thanks to Smash 64. So, and Sakurai's original vision for the Dragon King. Captain Falcon can also thank Dragon King quite a bit. So, yeah, damn right.
All right. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for today. So, next time on Super Cast Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized that when we did this in the last episode, we said we were doing it, talking about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and then we changed gears. Oops. Sometimes that happens, though. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't happen to us too often, but, occasionally. Anyways, next time...
We played it.
Yeah, we did. And then we realized it's the 64th episode. What are we doing? But next time around, it's back to Smashtopia. And, kind of like we're building a pattern here. Once a season, we do a Smashtopia episode that's not about a character. In Season 1, we talked about a lot of assist trophies. In Season 2, we had a lot of stages. This time around, Pokemon. We're building a lot of them, and we're going to be throwing out quite a few ideas at you all, and then uploading them all to the wiki that maybe that same night or stretched out across the year. Jonno, we'll see how it goes. But all right.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see you all next time.
And we'll see you next time.